Awesome. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome to another Purposeful Conversations with me, Emee, here in the Pommy Code Facebook community. Well, our guest today, I'm just really super excited to have this conversation with her because when I saw her profile on Facebook, she's relatively young and she's accomplished so much in her life already. She's an absolute self-starter, full of courage, full of resilience, and I just can't wait to hear her story. So let's all welcome Julia Seraphine. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Emmy. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Wonderful. And thank you for joining us. I know that, well, most of my guests, usually we see them on video, but where you are, the internet connection is not great. So we'll just do this by audio.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Julia, because for those members in our community who haven't heard of you before, yeah, tell us a bit about your companies, your businesses. What have you done, and why did you choose this route?
So, for me, I started a brand called the Princess Gem Store, which is a jewelry store. And we're currently expanding into e commerce, which means we're building up our website and our online presence. And we've sold jewelry in person up until now. And things obviously have kind of taken a turn with like in-person retail as opposed to e-commerce. So it's definitely like a great time for my business for us to be moving into e-commerce.
Right.
I'm
So,
also
hmm.
oh, you first.
Go on, go on. Sorry to cut you.
I'm also an influencer on social media. I'm about to reach 16,000 followers on Instagram, and I use that platform to really connect with other people who like fashion as much as myself and are really interested in my point of view and my social media advice that I give through my platform.
Right, that's fantastic. So yeah, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Because you look really young in that you're starting this you already have a business. You are quite flexible as well. You're adaptable considering the current circumstances, that how to pivot and how to adjust your business to suit the current climate. So yeah, I just find this fascinating. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
Oh, I'm 21. I'm going to turn 22 in the summer.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what made you decide to start your own business? And as far as I know, you also went to college, didn't you?
Yeah, I have my associate's degree and two certificates, one in entrepreneurial studies and the other in fashion management. And I decided to start my business while I was a business student. I realized that influencers don't really have a place to buy jewelry that's both affordable and good quality at the same time. There's a lot of fast fashion out there, and the fast fashion jewelry that they have usually like will put a pigment on your skin. It's like made of metals that people are allergic to. The stuff falls apart or it tarnishes or rusts. I wanted my store to sell at the same price point, but better quality.
Right. So you actually identified the need there, and you want to show that you are producing something that is of good quality. And as an influencer, I know that uh older generations don't really understand what influencers do. So, can you explain a little bit what is an influencer, and why to become an influencer?
So, an influencer is someone who has somewhat of a large platform on social media and has some influence over the opinions of their followers. And I would say, like, becoming an influencer was kind of driven by just my knowledge of social media. People really kind of flocked to my positivity and the advice that I've started giving out for how to become an influencer and how to succeed on social media.
Right. And are most of your followers around the same age group, or are you attracting followers from all age groups?
Most of my followers are between the ages of 20 and 35, a very like vast majority of them are from New York as well.
Oh, right, right. So you're catering to that particular generation. I'm just thinking because for some generations they might question maybe you should just get a job, or maybe go on a 9 to 5. What made you go for this and actually ignore those traditional paths to making money and making a name for yourself?
Well, so many people have just suggested, like, oh, just get a job, just work 9 to 5. But for me, like, I'm really a self starter and I'm very self motivated. And I find that I do the best work when I'm my own boss. And I've actually gotten a lot done and a lot accomplished in fact that this is my job.
Right. Yeah. So it's yeah, with being a self, I can totally relate to that. I mean, I have to say though that when I was around your age, I moved here to the UK. I was originally from the Philippines, and I really wanted to pursue an academic career. Most of my friends just stayed in the Philippines, but I really want, there is something in me that I want to do this, and I know it's going to be difficult, and I know that it's not the traditional path, but I'm gonna go for it, and whatever challenges that I will face, I will overcome it. Do you have the same experience, as an entrepreneur, as someone who actually started a business at this age?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've had to overcome a lot, like a lot of stigma as someone who doesn't work a traditional job. I've had to overcome my own fears, and I've also had to overcome a huge time roadblock, I would say, because being in college, I actually had a lot of assignments. I was also vice president and treasurer for the Honors Society at my school, and I was doing a lot of volunteering as well. So I didn't have a lot of time. And I realized that in order to really get things done that I wanted to be done, that I should just kind of map out my entire day weeks in advance and just really schedule my time carefully. And it was overcoming that that really motivated me and really helped me get where I am.
Yeah, I can actually see that from a lot of, yeah, self-starters who are quite successful. They have this goal, they have this ambition, they have this burning desire. They map out a roadmap almost. It doesn't really have to be like a 10-year plan or anything like that, but they allocate time. They allocate a very specific a very specific time frame to get things done, because if it is just all airy fairy, oh, I want to do this without putting it concretely in terms of your diary or in terms of concrete action, then it's not going to happen. It's just going to remain a dream. But I can see that you are driven, and you actually apply action as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I found that if you just kind of let yourself be in a space of like, oh, I'm gonna do this whenever, I'm gonna do this at whatever time, that it never really gets done, like you were saying. And I found that like just planning in advance is like the key to really getting things done.
Right, yes. What I've noticed though with other entrepreneurs is, and this is where the PAMI code comes in. For PAMI, it means purpose, action, momentum, and energy. You identify your purpose, you identify your goals, you are driven by that sense of purpose. You couple it with action. Purpose is meaningless if you actually don't do anything about it. But it's the momentum, it's you have to take one action after another, because what happens is when you pursue your passion, there will be blocks, there will be challenges ahead, and to overcome those blocks, to maintain the momentum, that's actually what would separate the ones who start something and and just abandon it when things go the way they planned, and those who actually overcome those blocks and carry on. So in your case, what were the initial blocks? You did mention, the time that you had a lot of things that you had to do for college and a lot of extracurricular activities. But in terms of mindset blocks or social blocks that you had to overcome, could you share a little bit about your experience? What specific blocks did you experience, and how did you overcome these blocks?
So for me, I find that I get very overwhelmed if I don't have things planned out. And being overwhelmed really stagnated me for a while, where I would just be in a mindset of like, oh, this is so exhausting. I can't keep going on like this. How will I keep doing this if like every day is exhausting to me? And then I realized that if you just take breaks, like if you just allow yourself to have fun sometimes, if you realize when you're about to feel overwhelmed that you just take a break instead, it's really about like reading yourself, reading how you feel, and trying to maintain a positive mindset. And
Right,
that
yeah.
is how I overcame my block of being overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think it is quite common for so many people to feel overwhelmed, especially if they're starting something new and it is something unfamiliar. But first of all, yeah, when you have that passion, when you have that drive and realizing what you are trying to achieve, it gets easier to overcome those blocks. And as you've said, I think in your case, because you enjoy it, you actually do have fun with what you're doing, and it carries you through. And I assume that you have people supporting you as well. I mean, in terms of again, going back to the PAME code. PAME actually means let's go together. It means that in this life, you don't have to go through life on your own. You can, if you struggle or if you have wins, you can celebrate with other people and share your struggles with other people. In your case, do you have these people in your life who share your worries and frustrations, and celebrate your wins with you?
Yeah, there's my parents. My parents have been very nice and supportive of me when I was just starting out, and they're still supporting me now, just in an emotional capacity, as well as my boyfriend, who's actually also from the Philippines, like you are. So I really like when I heard your accent, I was like, oh, she's from the Philippines. That's so cool. And there's also my professors were very huge in helping me start, and one of them specifically, Professor Luglio at my school Gateway, she was a huge help in starting my business, as well as the entrepreneur in residence that is at Gateway, and his name is Mike Rohr, and both him and Professor Luglio have been like huge supports in starting my business. I wouldn't be here without them.
Oh, that's lovely. And to actually acknowledge, these people in your life who support you. I mean, yeah, you don't really have to go through this process alone. And it's quite reassuring that even for someone like you who's a self-starter, we see a lot of influencers online, and you think that everything is rosy and everything is just fine, all these airbrushed lives, if you like everything looks just happy and fun. In the background, you don't really know the challenges, and you don't know the kind of support that people actually get to get to where they are now. So it's usually a team effort. There is one person leading and really shining and showing the outcomes, but around that person, you have a group of people supporting that person as well.
Yeah, I've definitely found my support network has been huge in helping me get things done. Without their emotional support or their advice, I wouldn't be as successful nearly as I am now.
Awesome. So what's in store for you in the future? I mean, what are your plans? I know that you are considering, well, you are opening up like the e-commerce for your Princess Gem store. Is that where you're heading, and are you planning to expand more?
Yeah, I'm planning on attending more events once things cool down with the whole coronavirus situation and really marketing at these events. There's an event in Connecticut that's called the Oyster Festival, and it's actually very huge. Thousands of people attend. So that's my next stop for like a huge event. I also plan on maybe finishing my bachelor's degree because currently I only have an associate's and two certificates. And I was hoping to go to Yale specifically, and I hope I do get accepted because the transfer acceptance rate is very low.
Well, you can pursue it, aim for it, and go for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's really quite exciting. I mean all of the principles that I can see in successful people, with you having that sense of purpose, you have a goal, you couple it with action, and it's not as if you are perfect. You're also someone who feels overwhelmed. You get stressed out from time to time. There are challenges as well, but you found ways to manage your stress levels, and also have a network of people to support you, so when you have these challenges you actually can tap into those emotional and social support that you need to power through. And what I've noticed is that you are also willing to learn, you are willing to grow, go to all these networking, and to learn a little bit more maybe about marketing and how to expand your business. So you're always learning and growing. You have this kind of growth mindset that you're willing to learn, and I assume that you're willing to make mistakes as well.
Yeah, I mean, part of learning is making so many mistakes, and a lot of people let themselves get stopped by these mistakes. And what I could say is a mistake, as long as it's like fixable, is actually probably a good thing because it means that you have an opportunity to learn from something that's happened. And as long as you learn from something and it's easy to fix, it's not as bad as a mistake as some might say.
It's a learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Julia, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm really excited to get this opportunity to have this conversation with you, because yeah, I saw your profile on Facebook, and I can already sense that you are a self-starter, full of energy, full of ambition, and you're just really going for it. To start at such a young age, to set up your own business, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of grit, but at the same time knowing that you have the support to back you up. It's a very reassuring that you're also human and you
Yeah.
also need the support of people to get you to power through.
Yeah, like having other people is really one of the best things that you can do when you're starting a business. And having a network of people that are there for you is always going to pick you up when you're feeling down.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Julia. If people want to connect with you and learn more about you, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram. If you type in Julia Seraphine, my profile should come up as Sapphire Eyes with a dot, an underscore, and a dot between the sapphire and eyes. But if you just look up Julia Seraphine, you'll see me. And I also have a LinkedIn, and that's also Julia Seraphine. I would love to connect with anybody on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Well, very exciting times for you, Julia, and I'm absolutely positive that you will do amazing things in the future. But to everyone who's watching this right now, I hope that you found something valuable in our conversation today. I mean, you might be more mature than Julia and I. Maybe you are thinking about starting something new in your life, whether it's a new business, a new career, a new relationship, a new life elsewhere. Always remember that, have this sense of purpose. When you have this sense of purpose and when you have a goal, it is easier for you to anchor into that purpose and couple that with action, maintain the momentum, and then find that support network who can support you and guide you through the process, as you've heard from our conversation today with Julia. So, everyone, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks, Julia, for joining us. And we'll catch up again next time for another purposeful conversation with Emmy here in the Pommy Code Facebook group. Until then, take care and bye for now. Bye.